He's on the way, I think.
How you doing?
How's it going?
I'm, hanging in there, being as
Oh
thankful
my
as I
gosh.
can. And during times like this, you got to stay positive as much as possible.
Yeah, for sure. Where are you at right now?
I'm in LA still. I'm here in LA, hunkering down like the rest of us.
hmm
hmm
so very excited to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I know a lot of people are very excited to hear from you and have a lot of questions about Outer Banks. And so my understanding is that, well, first of all, you were like, I think one of the breakout stars of this show because your performance is so great. JJ was just like, you're like nodding your head. You're like, yeah.
No,
Um,
thank you.
um, Sorry. JJ was like one of my favorite characters in that he really struggled with a lot during the season. And but my question for you is that I heard you were originally up for the role of John B.
That is correct. Yes.
So how did you end up with JJ?
Well, through a long auditioning process, and Jonas popping the question of like, "Hey, man, like." I just gotta know which one is it. And when he asked me that question, I was thrown because at first, you'd be like, John B, dude, right? Like lead of the show and everything,
Yeah.
like narrator, like John B, let's go. But I have the text message still, and I screenshot it because it's like, I remember sending him my decision of like, I relate with John B on a whole other level of like, John B was basically who I was when I grew up. He was kind of awkward, but also like, kind of like charismatic at the same time. And I was like, John B is somebody I relate with, but in terms of like characters who I want to play, and I would
hmm
love to dive into a character and figure out what makes him tick, I said JJ, and I said that's my decision. I think I would choose JJ, and so Jonas took that in for consideration, and then he flew me out to Charleston as John B anyway, and then we came to the like, all right, no, it's JJ. When we were in Charleston, we came to that conclusion. So yeah.
Gotcha. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the comments here. A lot of the Outer Banks, I'm assuming of Outer Banks fans are really requesting for you to say housekeeping.
Once again, you go.
What is that? Can you explain
Oh,
that to me?
I love you guys. You guys always are so sweet when it comes to me saying housekeeping. Like there you go. There's the one time I'll say it for this interview.
Oh, see, you did it for the
I
fans.
did it for
The
the
fans are
fans.
happy. We can
Yeah,
just end the live now.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. That's it. Good talking to you. All right.
No, we've got more. We've got more. Um, so how is filming Outer Banks on location?
So I mean, it's not technically location, but we did our
Yeah, I know
best.
that you guys filmed close to where it was,
We
but not
tried our best.
exactly.
We tried our best. Charleston, I mean, a lot of people would argue that it isn't like the Outer Banks, which it's partially true, but then also it is as well actually kind of true that part of the
Right.
Outer Banks is fairly similar. And we didn't just only shoot in Charleston. There's other places like Beaufort and places a little farther out that could replicate it a little closer to the Outer Banks, but shooting on location and shooting at like live sets is always so fun because it's like there's no there's no involving your imagination. I guess it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's there, like all the props are there, everything is like a lot of, I mean, set design was amazing, but like when you're working on location it's just to a whole nother level of realism.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would say.
And you did like a lot of, you guys do everything. There's a lot of running in the show, first of all. A
Sure
ton of
is.
running.
Yeah.
Did you guys train for that at all? Because I was literally getting winded watching how much running you guys were doing.
We did a swimming test, but man, I wish they had like some like running training or like a 5K like time test that we'd have to do because man, like I'm pretty sure I worked harder on Outer Banks than when I was in cross country in high school. Like completely
Right.
honest, yeah. But no, there's a whole lot of running. There's a lot. The swim test was fun. Drew Starkey, the guy that plays Rafe, we had to do like a sink test where you sink to the bottom and hold your breath for about, I think it was 45 seconds,
Oh, wow.
which is hard. Like I was like, holy cow, that's a long time. Um, But you'll have to hold your breath for that long. But Drew, we give the weight to Drew to go all the way down, and Drew just stays at the top of the water with this 5 pound weight, and we're just like, wait, are you serious? You just cannot. Like, it was amazing and
Uh-huh.
hilarious at the same time. So we did swim training, we did all that good stuff, but no running training. No running training.
There's a lot of surfing too and driving boats. Is that stuff that you already knew how to do?
I knew how to drive a boat for sure. I don't know if you know this, but I'm from Alaska, Ketchikan, Alaska, to be exact.
Oh, wow.
And, we did a lot of that up there, so I already knew how to drive a boat. But in terms of surfing, I surfed like a couple of times when I was here in Los Angeles. But when I went out to South Carolina is when I really gave it like the best effort. And like I got up a good decent amount of times, but like uh, nothing to brag about though.
Who's the best surfer out of the group?
Out of the group, probably Chase. I mean, probably Jonas, like the director for sure. But
Hmm.
Chase got up more times than not. So he's pretty good out there.
Gotcha. And were there any other like skills that you kind of had to learn for the show that you had to pick up quickly?
Yeah. The Zippo tricks. I decided that was going to be a JJ thing, so I did some Zippo training by myself in my apartment.
Hmm.
And learning how to take apart a gun and putting it together, kind of doing that as an actor exercise. That was interesting. Um, what's another thing that I did for um, training wise? No, that's about it. Boat training, swimming training, um, and then just getting chemistry down. I guess that's training as well.
I know
Yeah.
you guys are obviously in the show, you're a super close-knit group of friends, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously in real life you guys are super close too. Did you guys have like any bonding exercises that you did, or was that just like chemistry from the start?
I think Jonas knew that if he tried to force the chemistry, it was gonna show. So me and Chase naturally were like, we need to just bond. Like we just need to instantly. So we decided to move in together, um, and that's what we did. And then JD and I were just instantly friends on the first chemistry read. Everybody just got along. Like I think that was something to the casting, props casting, is that like they really found the type of characteristics about people um, that just mesh well, and casting found
Hmm.
that. So I think that's my answer, is that like casting went through the ringer, and they found these people with the same kind of dynamic about them, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Who is probably the person that you're closest to in the cast? Can you say that, or is it more
Yeah, I
so
mean,
you're close with
I mean,
everyone?
we're all so close. So if I say one person, they're gonna be like, "Uh huh, yeah, that's what like." Everyone is gonna be like, "Oh, okay, I see how it is." I mean, we're all just so tight. I think I got to
I know
know.
that didn't you and Madison meet on the flight
We
to
met on the
somewhere?
plane, yeah. So
Yeah,
we
right?
didn't even say anything to each other. So I was getting on a plane, putting my bag in the overhead compartment, and I look over my shoulder, and instantly, Maddie Bailey hops on the plane. I'm like, that's Kiara. Like I don't even need to like. I just waved. We haven't even met before. We just
Hmm.
were like, oh, what's up? Like I know exactly why you're here. And then I sat down. And that was that. And then yeah, and then I think one of her friends connected us and was like, "Are you on the flight right now to Charleston?" And then it was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I think my friend saw you," and that was that story. Um, that's how I met Maddie Bailey. But
Hmm.
Jonathan, I actually think I'm closest with Jonathan. Jonathan Davis, though, guy that plays Pope. So
Oh yeah, you guys have a very close relationship in the show, I feel.
yeah, we
Like
do. Yeah.
JJ and Pope, like JJ taking that, fall for him is a really pivotal part of the show, I feel. It's kind of like what starts JJ's almost like spiral that he has.
Mm-hmm. It really was something that me and JD talked about a lot, and like what it really meant and how we felt about each other, and that was itself. And also JD and I have known each other the longest out of the cast. Like we met pretty early on.
Cool. Yeah. And that's like I think when you guys, well, speaking of Kiara and everything, and getting that chemistry down between, I think a lot of the fans believe that JJ and Kiara maybe have like a thing going on or should be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you agree with that?
You know, the way I answer this question is that it's like we didn't see that coming. Me, Bailey, we didn't really see the dynamic of like JJ and Key, because like we did several takes one way and then they would have us do another way, and like the number of times they wanted me to play into something were
Mm-hmm.
very rare. And so like we did not see that coming. And then it's up to the writers, and I think the writers are definitely listening to the fans right now to a certain extent to give you guys some hints. But I whatever is in the writing, I'm gonna do, and I'll do it to the best of my capability.
Do you want that for JJ? Like, if we're talking, obviously, we don't know if season two is like completely a go yet, but if there is a season two, like, what do you hope happens for him? Like, do you want him to find somebody?
I think, just to be honest, I want JJ to find some sort of stability other than John B. I don't know whether it's a dog, please, or if it's like a lady friend or whatever. Not. I think there should be a new dynamic introduced to JJ and keeping him like kind of stable, because he's not really
Mm-hmm.
the most stable being on planet Earth. But
Right.
um, I think it's a possibility. And I once again, whatever the writers say, I'm gonna do, and
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that JJ finds some sort of happiness. You know.
Mm. And speaking of like his very unstable at home life, there's a lot of intense sequences with your father in the show. Um, did you, for the stunt work for that, did you do some of that or was that a
Yeah,
mixture?
yeah. No, Toby was our stunt coordinator. Great stunt coordinator. He uh, would go over it with the stunties, we call them, first, and then he would throw the actors in. And I mean, for some hardcore stunts, we definitely had to, like, I'm pretty sure there's a legal issue of like the stunties have to do it. Um, but most times than not, I want to say the footage of what was going on was me and Gary Weeks, the guy that plays Luke. That
Mm-hmm.
was the majority, I'd say, of the footage of when, because we would really just like, shout out to Gary Weeks if he ever sees this. The man is such a sweet person. I know it's kind of hard to believe, but holy cow! After every single take, after every single punch he threw, um, they said cut, he would come over and be like, put his hand on my shoulder and be like, "How was that? Are you okay?" And like he would just make sure, and like it really was like it was helpful, but also sometimes I would be like, just like I would be like, it's okay, and then like he's like, I know, we're in it, and then like 5 seconds later they said camera rolling, and then we'd have to get back into it again. So it's like he just always was so sweet of just like, you okay? I know I made contact a little bit on that one, and you're just like, it's okay, and then like we just go into the next thing. So and
Mm-hmm.
like that's the thing, is like when it's so rapid fire like that, it's almost as if like you get those split seconds of just like, whoa, like, Bo Webb, the theater scene where Rafe is just decking me, and then Pope is
Mm-hmm.
getting choked out. Spoilers. Uh, there's a shot where Bo Webb had the angle so perfect that when Rafe swung and I like had spit in my mouth and I spat it out a little bit, it just looked so real that Bo was like, "Oh!" And he like just like looked over and he's like, "Are you good?" And
Mm-hmm.
it was just like he didn't make contact. It was like Toby did a great job at teaching us how to do stunt fighting, so it was really fun.
Mm-hmm. Can you pinpoint a hardest scene to film? Would you say that those are?
I mean, all the scenes on the boats, every scene on the boat is just, there's so many other boats that are just not on camera that it's like, all right, you have to think about wind, you have to think about current, you have to think about tide. There's so many moving factors to when we're shooting on water that it's like there's walkie talkies going off everywhere, and you're like trying to focus on a scene, you're trying to like ignore it and put it out of your brain, and like everyone's like, fix the boat, and you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
stay focused, and it's just like those scenes were really hard because you had to tune out, like, I want to say 5 other boats that are really close to you, and then you're with cameras on them, and you're also driving a boat at the same time, and that's like real. Like I was driving a boat as we're doing a scene, and like I would actually have to focus on driving the boat while people are
On top
talking
of
and stuff.
acting, yeah.
And it's like, whoa, there's a lot going on. I'm fully stimulated. Oh my god, that's not a word.
And what was your favorite day on set?
Favorite day on set? Oh, Midsummer's. Boom, easy.
Really?
Uh,
Wow. The party? I
Midsummer's.
mean, did you guys actually party?
Uh, no, Midsummer's. Oh yeah, the one with everybody with the Rose Cameron had the giant headset thing.
Mm-hmm.
That day was so much fun because like I almost the entire cast was there that day, plus like 200 extras. We're shooting at a crazy location, um, and like everybody was just on it that night. Like it was just like clockwork. Like Chase and I shot a scene in like I want to say 6 minutes. It was insane. Like the sun was going down. Jonas was like, "We need to get this now." And like me and Chase were like, let's go, let's just do it. And we shot a scene within like 6 minutes, which is unheard of. It was just like bing, bang, boom, boom, bang. It's the scene
Mm-hmm.
when I'm just like putting on my stuff. And he's just like, you brought a gun? I was like, yeah, I brought a gun for protection. He's just like, all right. And I was like, that scene, we just did it so fast. It was amazing.
Amazing. Well, I'm looking here at the questions that people have submitted for you because there is like a little thing that Instagram has where viewers
Yeah.
can submit some questions.
Yeah, I got used to that.
Literally all of them are asking you to say housekeeping again, but we did that already.
We did that, guys. You missed
We
it.
we we did it, guys. Sorry. I'm trying to find some good ones here that we can do. We kind of spoke to what you want to happen for JJ in the
Mm-hmm.
next season of OBX. Um,
Yeah.
oh, this is a good one. How do you think you're similar to your character?
How do I think it's similar? I'm similar to JJ, and I think a self-sufficient kind of way, or like I leave it up to myself. I don't ask to like usually people for help in terms of like getting my stuff done. If I
Mm-hmm.
need to get something done, I usually would be like, all right, I gotta put it on myself. But sometimes people are so kind and are like reach out a hand. I'm different to JJ, and I think I would accept the hand. Like I think I would be like, all right, please help me. JJ
Right.
would be like, nah, dude, get away from me. But I'm similar in like I want to usually do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a similarity between me and JJ for sure.
So we got another one. This is a good one. How much of the show was improvised?
You know, that's a great question. In terms of my lines, I would mix it up sometimes. Like I would do a take. What we would do is Jonas be like, "This is going to be a take on book, guys," because that's what the editors need. And we were like, "Okay."
Mm-hmm.
So we would do a take on book, and then Jonas would be like, "Go crazy, do what you want." And most times, not like a lot of it is in the show. What's a great improv scene? Oh, when me and JD go, just be so safe. I'll be so safe. And then John B goes, he's like, I'm gonna kill you. And then he's just like, but how would
But
that
how
keep
would
us
we be
safe?
safe?
And I was like, that
Yeah.
that was all improv. It's hilarious. I love that scene. Yeah, there's a bunch of it that's improv, but also there's a lot of good writing that was just like you would think that was an ad lib, but like, nah, that was Josh Payton, Shannon
Mm-hmm.
Burke getting to work. So yeah. Next
This
question.
is a good one. Who on set makes you laugh the most?
Mm, that's so hard because there's so many people. So many crew members are hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Hot Dog, if you're watching out there, Johnny Hot Dog. Uh, JD. I mean, I think I have to say JD. That he's hilarious.
Oh,
Again, me and JD just kind of riff. This story has been told, but I want to tell it. It was the kind of Sarah and Kiara scene of when we're on the porch at the chateau, and they're like kind of heated.
mm-hmm.
And me and JD, that was an improv moment when I pull out the money. That was improv. But like me and JD are just in this zone of like brothers, just like riffing off of each other, trying to stay light and like this is entertaining. And before the take, Maddie Klein goes, "Do you guys stop? Do you guys like shut up?" And then me and JD go, and we both look like hurt little puppies, and we're just
Oh
like,
no.
and we're just like, and we start laughing, but then like Klein starts laughing her ass off too. She's like, but like guys, come on. I'm like, okay, all right, and we can like pull it together. But me and JD just have such a blast with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'd say JD.
A lot of people are asking about the hot tub scene.
Yeah.
Um, some people are just literally saying hot tub.
Hot
But
tub, baby. Yeah.
I
I mean,
guess
I
they
want one
want you
too.
to talk about it.
Can I get a hot
I
tub?
mean,
Yeah.
but it was a really great scene in just kind of like getting to understand JJ, I think, and where he was at and why he was kind of, lashing out. Um, Someone said, how long did the hot tub scene take to film?
Valerie Reese, are you on here? Valerie was the director for that scene. I was very
Mm,
focused on. I was really focused on what I was supposed to do. I wasn't really checking the time, but
right.
I would say usually a scene like that takes about like I mean if we're talking prep and like several hours of like getting I mean there's so much into just one scene. I think that really shooting time probably about 45 minutes to an hour of just like
Mm-hmm.
taking the scene, taking it. All right, we're moving over here. Um, maybe an hour and a half. I really didn't pay attention to that, but
Mm-hmm.
that's how usually a scene would take. Of like if you're taking more than like 2 hours on a scene, it's like we got so many others to get to, so it's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
I would say like an hour to an hour and a half.
And then we got another one from Elliot who wants to know what your favorite part on set was when you weren't filming. So I guess maybe this can count as like maybe a cast hang or something.
Cast hangs, yeah. We had some really good times grilling. The Outer Banks cast knows how to grill. I'll tell you that. So that was always fun. Um, it was also fun because not a whole lot of people knew that Outer Banks was shooting in Charleston. So like we would like go have a dance party downtown. That'd be fun. Uh, hmm, I would say rock climbing is like one of my favorite pastimes. When I just am like not working, is I go out to coastal climbing, baby. If you're out there, I
Mm-hmm.
went to coastal climbing and I just worked on my climbing skills and surfed. That was my thing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And then where's that one that I just saw? This one's asking how you got your start in acting.
Hmm. I'd say I got my like start by this Muse music video, and if you guys haven't seen
Mm-hmm.
it, I think that was like the first time people saw that okay, Rudy can kind of dance. uh, but that was probably like the thing that was like a start of like, holy cow, who's this kid?
Mm-hmm.
Thought Contagion. If y'all are out there, go watch Thought Contagion on YouTube. So I would say that was the start.
Okay, and a bit more questions here. We have what's Rudy missing about shooting OBX?
Everything, guys, everything, and simpler times. I think is the right answer.
That too, yeah.
That's the right answer right there.
Being
Simpler.
able to see people.
Being able to be outside on the beach,
Hmm.
that's nice. Yeah, guys, like it's kind of whack right now. But we got to do our part because all of those healthcare workers right now are doing their best, and we got to do our part. So, um, we just got to do them a solid and stay as safe as possible.
For sure. Um, and then any more questions, guys? Give Rudy all your questions.
Let them rip.
One show. Oh, this is a good one. Is this an actual thing? Where did they come up with the idea of pogues and kooks? Is
So
that a
Poe,
literal thing?
yeah. So I mean, a kook has always been like an insult, or I don't know if it's technically been an insult, but it's always been some sort of like I don't want to say the term an asshole. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
kook's been always like an asshole term. But pogue is actually a type of fish. So like the pogue is like the lowest of the low. It's like a herring, basically. Um, and so it's kind of like a symbol for like we're like the nobodies.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where that term came from. I don't know. I really don't know if that's a term out in the Outer Banks. If that's like
Right.
something people use, I doubt it. Sounds like a Jonas and Josh fictional term that he
Mm-hmm.
brought up. But I can't say that for sure, guys.
If anyone is from the Outer Banks, please confirm
Yes.
in the comments. This is a good one. Favorite movies? Yeah, what are you watching in quarantine? What are you listening to, watching?
I mean, I'm all over the place, but mm, I mean, you gotta just say Avatar: The Last Airbender, baby. But that's there.
Mm.
But if I was gonna say favorite movie, my favorite movie of all time is Remember the Titans, and I'm not even a
Oh,
football fan.
wow.
It's Remember the
That's
Titans,
a
and
throwback.
it's a throwback. And believe it or not, JD, that's how we first got to know each other when we were like, "What's your favorite movie, man?" I said, "Remember the Titans," and he's like, "No way, that's mine." And I was just like, "What?" And that's his favorite movie as well. That's and that I think that's when that's
And that's
literally
how
the
y'all
first.
hit it off.
That's how we hit it off. That's the first time I met JD. Is that
Very
question?
cool.
And so I think that'd be my favorite movie. There's so many other though. So many great movies out there.
What about
Uh,
music?
music. Music would be also all over the place. My favorite song is probably "Express Yourself" by Charles Wright.
Mm.
I really like the song "The Wand," and it's spelt out WAND, by the Flaming Lips. That's a great song. Rock and roll is just like it gets me going. I'm all over the place though. I listen to some rap. I listen to some funk. I listen to jazz. I listen to like all sorts of stuff. Even Irish folk music. I'm all over the
Hmm.
place.
And for our last question, what's the first thing you're gonna do once you get out of quarantine?
First thing I'm gonna do when I
Yeah,
get out of quarantine, go shoot season 2.
there we go. Good response. You hear that, Netflix?
Yeah, Netflix. You hear
Anyone
that?
from Netflix? Is anyone from Netflix watching? At Netflix. Thank
Yeah.
you, Rudy. It's been so much fun talking with you. Thank you for joining us here. We love you at Elle.com. It's been so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good
All
one.
right. Bye, everyone.